Hey, welcome back, Houston Hacks fans. This week we play the commissioner himself, Kohler Rocket. Always a threat, always a difficult match. In the past, I've definitely had some luck against Cole. I believe the last time we played, I got a 50-50 with a Sand Slash to predict a roost on his part, but always intense. He's always got really cool sets, always a fun game. My really good friend, he's a great guy. He makes all this draft league stuff happen, and so it's a fun week. It's a fun week. So let's just look at our matchup here. I thought our matchup was pretty good. I actually kind of like Jolteon in the matchup to deal with Charizard, but we'll see that I wound up not bringing Jolteon. Instead, I decided to bring. Basically, what I wound up doing is I brought Arcanine, Mew, Golisopod, Drampa, Blade, and Claydol, which Claydol comes every single week. Everyone should know that. No, Claydol's a beast. But basically, things that I was worried about in his team, I knew Bulltown had some speed. I thought it was going to be banded, and it was a good revenge killer, as it was faster than my Mew. Another thing to look out for, obviously, Charizard is a major, major threat. Access to Dragon Dance, access to powerful special attacks. I really was not expecting Xatu. I didn't think that had a great matchup, but he wound up bringing it in the end. I thought Rotom Frost was a little bit scary with ice and electric coverage. He just needed to basically risk it and go for the blizzards. I thought Serena doesn't do anything versus Deblade. I think Deblade always blocks it, spin blocks it, and it doesn't get any dark moves anymore. So I really wasn't expecting Serena. Although I did bring Drampa just in case he did elect to bring Serena, as he elected to just go with Xatu for his prevention of hazards. I knew he was going to bring an Age Slash, or if he didn't, I would have been very, very surprised. I thought it was a good setup, as I have 3 Pokemon that are weak to ghost moves. So I thought Age Slash would come in. I was thinking Shadow Sneak. I thought he'd bring King Shield, but he could just band it and go with that as well, and just hope that I didn't have a counter. I really was expecting Clefable. I thought that was a threat. It's kind of slow, but it can hit really hard. It has good coverage, or it could wish past the rest of his team. So I was definitely expecting Clefable. I knew Rhydon was coming. I really don't have a great way of dealing with it, because unless I invest a ton of speed into Golisopod, or in case he invested a lot of speed, we'd basically play a game of chicken, whoever could hit each other first. So we'll see in the builder here exactly what I'd elect to do. But and I thought Quillfish made a lot of sense. I thought it did a good job with Intimidate, and getting hazards up against me is a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have, as we'll see in this game. Lanoon, I wasn't super worried about, but I thought that would be his way to revenge kill Mew, possibly Choice Scarfed on the Lanoon. He did wind up bringing it, and we'll just see exactly what happens here. I do want to show you my team quick. Let's see. I actually don't have it pulled up, so we'll have to. Let's go team builder. Oh, there you go, ball. That's what I'm bringing. Except for now, I have the Toad against you, so I might mix that up a little bit. But the team basically was Drampa is a big threat once it gets in, having Shadow Ball and Hyper Voice, and I figured if I could get boost using the Throat Spray item, I could really do some damage. The Protect was for a high jump kick from Serena, and to just scout for the close combat on the Aegislash was the reason for the Protect. I thought Surf hit his team better than Energy Ball did, as I needed something for Rhydon. The Deblade was there to revenge kill things, as well as his Aegislash, but Deblade wound up being kind of a non-factor. I kind of threw it away in the game. We'll see what happens here. Arcanine with the Assault Vest was there to take on the Clefable, take those Moonblasts, and hit hard with the Flare Blitz. I brought really offensive Arcanine. I wish I kind of wish I would have brought Will-O-Wisp now that it's all said and done, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Then I brought double Colberberry on Claydol and Mew. And the whole premise behind the team, the first couple Mons that I did pick was actually I thought I was going to Trick Room against him, and that's why I had Min Speed on Drampa and Min Speed on Deblade. I was kind of scared of a boosting Aegislash that boosted speed, especially. He did bring Tailwind, which was kind of scary. But I was never able to really take advantage of the Trick Room, having my Claydol in. Unfortunately, the Claydol did have to take a big Mega Horn from Rhydon. I wasn't really expecting that. But the reason I made it Spadef is it made a ton of sense for his Aegislash to run a special against me. And so I knew with Claydol I could take a few hits and dish out some powerful Earth powers. The Ancient Power was so that Charizard didn't have free turns on me. And then Trick Room, I was going to try to Trick Room and then get in one of my Slowmons. Whether it be Deblade or Drampa. My Claydol, which wound up actually mattering, I made it slower than the Aegislash, and I made it slower than the Clefable. So I had to mess around with the IVs as well as the EVs, and just to get it slower, because min speed plus, but it wasn't completely min speed because I wanted it to still be faster than Rhydon. But I wish it was faster than Aegislash. I think, honestly, looking back on it, if I would have got a Trick Room up, that would have been really nice. But getting off an Earth Power against Aegislash would have just honestly won me the game. So, oh well. Let's hop into the battle. One mon I was a little bit worried about is my Glossopod down here. I did have Citrus Berry. I was really debating on whether to run Spikes or not, as Spikes were good, but I kind of wanted to run something to hit Aegislash a little bit harder, like Drill Run. So, I mean, we'll see exactly what happens here once we get to the battle. But basically, I was going to lead Mew. Mew was going to break early, and then we were going to clean up with hopefully Trick Room / switching around and getting my Arcanine in. I think things that I could have done a lot better. I think Jolteon actually would have been pretty good in this. Just as another special attacker, as good old Aegislash has King Shield, which is, just causes a lot of 50-50s and makes it very difficult to make predictions. But I knew with Rhydon, I was going to have a hard time cleaning up that Rhydon, having the as it was a good switch to my Jolteon. So, all right, let's check it out. Let's go into the match. Let's switch sides here. Music off. Play, pause, switch sides. Yeah, so seeing the Xatu, I was kind of surprised. I was actually super surprised no Clefable. But I knew my Mew was a pretty good lead, as it could hit everything on his team pretty hard. And I knew Xatu really couldn't do much. It could Shadow Ball me for about 40% probably, maybe a little bit more. But that's the best thing it could do. So I knew Nasty Plot was going to be my move. So that I could OHKO this thing with Shadow Ball. And so I Nasty Plot. Cole decides to set up some cheeky screens, which were nice. They were good on his team. But I was able to stall them out for the most part. I just set up another Nasty Plot, so the screens are not worth it here. I really considered going for the fighting type move, but I wanted to hit and kill that Xatu if I could. And so I did go for the Shadow Ball. Here I knew I have the Colberberry, so I knew I could not die to this thing. He goes for the T-Wave, which I was happy about at the time, but actually kind of gave him some advantage in the end here. I'm able to go for the Aurora Sphere. Here's the Bulltown, which I expected to come in, why I'm running Colberberry. And this actually mattered. Cole didn't think so. I think it would have done 60 to 70%. The Shadow Ball. I don't know why I went for Shadow Ball. I actually, when I was calking, I assumed that I forgot to put in the light screen calc. And so I thought, oh, Shadow Ball kills everything, even if he decides to switch around on me. But I should have gone for Psychic. Psychic killed 110% of the time. Regardless, here comes in the Aegislash. I really thought the Aegislash was going to go for Shadow Sneak to clean me up. It did not have Shadow Sneak. So if I would have got my Shadow Ball off, even with light screen up, I would have done 80% about, if not more. And so that would have probably just won me the game right there, taking out his last big threat. Unfortunately, I get paralyzed. It's the game we play. Luckily, I didn't get paralyzed the turn before. So, shit happens. He goes for Shadow Ball, cleans me up. I bring in Arcanine. He reveals the King's Shield, which is super annoying since all I have is physical attackers pretty much. I still know that -1 Flare Blitz does a ton to him. I do get a crit here, which doesn't matter too much. But I decide not to go for the close combat, as close combat only does about 35%. I go for the Earth Power to try to lower this thing, which actually gets him to a point. This is another point where I could have won the game. If I would have just attacked again, if I would have just said, you know what, I'm going to go for the Earth Power, I could have lowered the Aegislash down some more and been in a position where I would have been in a really good position, actually. And because he didn't have Shadow Sneak, I could have Earth Powered him once again. So, unfortunate, really unfortunate. That I missed out on that. I tried to go for the Rapid Spin, assuming that he would try to save the Rhydon, and either try to save the Rhydon or go to the Xatu. But unfortunately, we miss out on that opportunity, and we don't get our spin off. So we go for the Rapid Spin. He blocks us. Great play on his part to spin block me. We bring in Jägermonder here. I think he's going to go for a close combat. He does not, but I know I can get my Throat Spray off, so I go for the Hyper Voice. He is very specially defensive in his investment plus Light Screen. I'm able to kind of try to stall out some screens here. Luckily, Tailwind only lasts 4 turns. Does not last very long. And so we're able to clean up that Xatu. Let's get rid of that. He brings in the Rhydon. I knew I could take a hit here. I didn't really have any switches, so I just went for the Surf to clean him up as well. I do get lucky here on this next Kelk. He does go for the Toxic Spike, which was a great move on his part. It really wound up mattering. I was surprised Hyper Voice did that much, by the way. That did an insane amount. I'm able to hang on with 3 health, and I'm able to clean up. So now I know I have 4 on 1. He's got to attack here. He goes for a Brick Break to kill me. He does reveal the fighting move. That's why I ran Protect in the first place, but I didn't want him to set up, so I went for the attacking move. So here is where it gets a little tricky. This is where I decide, and I can throw it all the way back to when I played Nido Knight, now Sturcules. I threw a playoff match basically by trying to overpredict. And so I think there was a slight influence there. I knew I kind of had this game in the bag, and I thought there was a safe way to win this one without taking any 50-50s. I believe I made the right play immediately going out into Arcanine. I think that was just the way to do it. I bring in the Arcanine. I know I have Assault Vest, so I know I can take a hit from him. Actually, if he didn't get Rocks up, if I got my spin off, I would have won for sure. So hats off to him going for that spin blocking play. That gave him a chance. It really did. Because my Assault Vest against his specially attacking Aegislash, my Fenrir could take him. Even if he kept lowering my attack, it really would have had a really good chance to take care of him. But regardless, there's no way here. I learned something new. I should have known before, but King Shield, even if you're Ghost type, and I go for a normal type move, I went for Extreme Speed just to attempt to avoid the King Shield. I thought maybe, but for whatever reason, that was a dumb play. But for whatever reason, I thought I could avoid the King Shield using a normal type move on a Ghost type Pokemon. But now I'm able to get off my Flare Blitz. Does a ton to the Aegislash. Unfortunately, he is able to clean me up, and this is also key. He is running Leftovers. If he did not run Leftovers, I think I would have won, and that is why I thought I had it. That's why I was playing the way I was. I assumed that I could just chip him down, and then just play it safe because I had priority on both my last 2 months. So I could just play it safe, and I'd be able to take care of him. So this is where I throw the match. I bring out Golisopod. If there's no hazards, even Glossopod most likely 1v1s this Aegislash, but unfortunately there are hazards, and because of the emergency exit, I I don't know what I was thinking. I just didn't want to risk my I didn't want to go for my Shadow Sneak right away. So regardless, we bring out Glossopod, absolutely throwing the game. I figured I could use my spikes here and then get off a nice shot, but I was slower. And so, or at least, I guess I never tried it, but I'm pretty sure I was slower. And so I only do 17%. And I'm trying to get him into the 20 range because that's where my Shadow Claw kills him. But I thought I would be able to stay in there. I obviously wasn't able to. Here, I contemplated for a while going for the Swords Dance, but again, I'm trying to play it safe. And, unfortunately, that's not, if you want to win games, you got to you got to play to win the game and not just play to play it safe. So, honestly, my gut told me to go for Swords Dance, but I decided to just go for the Shadow Sneak. And the rest is history, basically. I lose some attack. I get my Shadow Sneak off. It would have done 23, so it would have been a roll, but I would have put him down to 1 health, and then my Glossopod could have cleaned up after that. I bring in Glossopod, who's taken way too much damage now, to the point of a Shadow Ball killing me, and so he goes for the King Shield, and it's over. Just like that. Hats off to Cole. He played a really good game. I felt like I brought the tools I needed to win. Unfortunately, just down the stretch, I got scared and just tried to really play it too safe. So the commissioner, he's a baller. I got to respect him on the power rankings for sure. And I look forward to the next one. I play undefeated Ball. So Ball, if you watched, I gave you a little sneak peek at the Mons I was thinking about. But that is a team that I made prior to making my transactions. So you can prepare for those 6, or I can bring a few other ones. But I will see you guys in the next one. Deuces.